Okay guys, following on from the live call we had earlier today, and I was talking to little Baldy Maxwell about building a small account, etc. I've made something that'll help you. Now, I've got plenty of time on my hands at the moment because, as you can see, the office is still in the form of getting decorated, so I'll be back to normal next week. So while I've been busy, I made this for you. So what you would do, put your start balance up here, kid. It can be whatever you want, 30 quid. All right, just to start. What will happen is that size will start increasing, but it'll work from the minimum point, which is about 10p a point. If you want to be less than that, fine, but it'll track it and tell you roughly what your position size should be. Okay. Now your gain, you can set it to whatever you want. 2%, 3%, 1%, doesn't matter. But we'll just use 2 as an arbitrary figure. There, 2% a day. Right, what's the current balance of this thing? Well, none of this will trigger up until you put the date in. So if you're working on today's date, now when this enters, it'll start firing up. All right, now what it's starting to do is it'll start calculating things. It'll work out how many days there's been. So for argument's sake, if you started this on the 15th of the 7th, what it'll start telling you is, well, that's today's date. That'll do automatically. It'll say, well, you've been running this for 9 days. Okay. Have you put any P&L into this? Well, at the minute you haven't, but it's telling you after 9 days at 2%, you should be on about 18. All right. So it's arbitrary. It's just working up to give you a target. Remember, when you're dealing with small numbers, getting 2% and what have you is relatively simple. It gets harder when you go higher up. Okay, so if that's the case, you then drop that down into 1%, 1/4%, whatever you want. All right. Just put in your P&L. You don't have to go war and peace, putting loads of different things in a journal. It's just interested in the P&L. So to set it up, you put your starting balance in there. So I'll do that again, just so you can change the numbers. See, the numbers change. Set whatever your target is going to be. 2.5, just so the numbers change. This is automatic. All of this is as well. And the only thing you have to put in is your date. So the date that you started, which would be today for this case. But in that case, just as an example to recap, put your start date in. It'll tell you how many days you've been running it and what growth you should be expecting at that point. Okay. So that's what that is. So I'll just set this. Well, actually, no. I'll leave it at 10.7 because it doesn't really matter, and then I can show you a couple of things. Sorry, rambling a little bit, I guess. 10.7. All right. So it's assuming it's run 14 days. You will be at 35. So you put your P&L in. What this is now doing is it's telling you what your balance is, 40 quid, what your expected target for the day is based on that size, and then your check balance. So you need your balance to be higher than 48 at the end of the day. So just put in, right, say you did 2 quid. Right. On that day, what's happened is, well, your balance is now grown to 42. It's gone green because it's bigger than the check balance. All right. So you want to keep that in the green. Your target is bigger than that, which is fine. And you've got a 5% growth. Outstanding. Do 2%, 2 quid again. In other words, you repeated the trade. Well, okay, that balance was higher, so obviously your return was lower, but it was still greater than what you're expecting, so stop. And it just runs on and on and on. So if you had sort of like 2 quid all the way through, just like so, it quickly calculates everything out. And what you'll see now, it's catching up. So your 2 quids ain't cutting it anymore. All right. You should be aiming at 205, 210, 235. So there, for argument's sake, if you did 250. See, goes back green again. But you're already ahead of the game. You're keeping ahead of what this is. And it tracks all the way through. And then you can see what you've done for the last 175 days. It's a simple tool and it works for you. And then you can just stick a couple of notes sort of up along that section there, and away you go. So what I'll do is I'll drop that down into the tools on the Discord. It's the only place I'm going to put it, okay? So if you need it, come in the Discord, go into the tools, and you'll see it'll be there. And then you can just download it to suit yourself. Hope that helps you, kid, but I made that one for you.